Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Grassroots Racer. This week's guest is a mechanical engineer and sprint car champion who has recently competed in the US, and I can't wait to speak to him about what it's like racing in these awesome looking cars. So it's a big welcome to Todd Hobson. How are you tonight, Todd?
Yeah, very good, Ayrton. Happy to be here.
Yeah. So thanks for joining me tonight. And like all racers, you started out somewhere, but I'm guessing you started out in Speedway karts. So how old were you when you got into it? And did your family race as well?
I started karting, speedway karting, when I was about 8 years old. My sister did it before me. That's how we sort of got into the karting. My dad's been racing V8 dirt modified sprint cars, about anything you can think of. They were called A-grade hot rods at some point. He's been racing them for about 45 years. But yeah, the old go-karts, Yamaha J's, that's where I got my start. And yeah, I credit a lot of that to where I've gotten to today.
Yeah, 100%. And, does your dad still race and even your sister?
At the moment, they're not, but my sister Ebony, she's going to have a run in the Wingless Sprint again. I ran her car a couple of times here or there, just sort of keep the cobwebs off it. Dad hasn't raced in probably about 3 or I want to say 4 years, I think. But he keeps telling me he's going to get in it again and give me the flick out of the seat and get him back in it. So we'll see. We'll see how they go this year.
Yeah, that's really cool. I hope your dad can get back in the car at some point. Be good to see him run. Did you ever compete nationally when you were younger or just around the state?
Is that in terms of karting?
Yeah.
I did a bit of both. So our karting is a little more smaller scale to the pavement world. So essentially a club level was sort of where it is, and then you got like the state titles and the national titles and all that. So pretty much I just started out at the club level running for Yarra Valley Speedway Kart Club. Then we just branch out and run titles wherever. I wasn't really eligible. The junior titles you aren't eligible to, I think it was 12 at the time. Yeah. It's changed now, but I had to wait a few years till I could actually run a national title or a state title. So I remember the first time I did one, I got in a big crash and I couldn't race the rest of the race. I broke. Well, this is my thumb. I think I broke it or fractured it or something, but it's never gone straight again.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So it's pretty wild. So then about 2013, I was about 14 to 15. I think it was 14 or 15. I went on to the national stuff, and we pretty much just chased titles the whole year and didn't really run much of the club stuff as much as we wanted to. But yeah, we're chasing big titles, which I won 3 state titles that year in 2013, I think it was.
So obviously growing up, you said you were chasing titles. So, what were some of your best achievements growing up?
With the karting, I won. I sort of was. Ebony was sort of the karting prodigy, and she won a national title. Oh. I know that just eluded me. I never could get a national title, so pretty much I won the Nora Club Championship, which is pretty cool. That's out all the cars and everything, like go-karts, cars, super sedans, whatever you want. I don't know where the classes raced there back then, but I won the 3 state titles in the 1 year in 2013. So that was New South Wales, Tasmania, and Victoria. So the Victoria one was pretty cool. That one was probably the biggest field, and I sort of called down the leaders and got them past them and just sort of drove away. That was, I call that one of my nights where I was the most focused in any sort of race vehicle.
Yeah, I do recall from when I did karting. There's just some days where you're really switched on, and you just got that mindset that you're not going to turn back and only go forward, which I try to do anyway.
Yeah, that's it.
You got to keep pushing forward. And I've heard even in asphalt karting, apparently Victoria's got the biggest fields, and sometimes even like they say sometimes it's the most competitive state. What do you believe about that?
I'm not. I remember coming to the karts. My buddy Nathan Hearn, my dad, Nathan's dad, Stuart, they used to run dirt modifieds together. So me and Nathan grew up together. So I used to go out there when they were down in Victoria and watch at the karting down there. They ran, I think, the CRK series. I think you might know that a bit better than me. But yeah, wow, some of the gear there, unreal. Yeah, that's definitely seems to be pinnacle down here. I'm not sure like how it sort of works in the payment world, but yeah, it was. And then when I rolled past there during my like 5 or 6 years later, rolling past Avalon or going racing, there's semi trailers for go karts. Like it's bizarre.
Yeah, it's got very expensive. I think we sort of left at the right time in 2019 because ever since then it's really picked up massively.
Really, wow. Hearn sort of said that when they had sort of moved on from karting. I think just a little before that, and must be just progressively going up.
I heard a rolling chassis now brand new is like six I think it was $6,700 for one of the newest ones. Just rolling without an engine.
Nearly get a Wingless Sprint for
that. When did you progress from sprint cars? From karting into sprint cars.
So I didn't do the big jump like a lot did. A lot went from karting straight to sprint cars. We don't have the budget for that. I pretty much raced on sponsorship.
Yeah.
And like my parents helped me a little bit, but pretty much where I went from there, the karting, I went to from the juniors to the seniors. So I went to KTs and then Outlaws, which is like Reed, water cooled. I think they're like Iamis and all that sort of motors. We had a Vortex, which is probably an older motor. It was a bit before my time, so when they were probably common on pavement. I went from there. I did a season just locally. I was over titles at that point. Just wanted to race locally, and then I went on to Wingless Sprint racing. So I ran V6 Wingless Sprint, which is just a Commodore engine from a VN Commodore, so like early 90s.
Yep.
And they're pretty much box stock. They're out of the car. You sort of give them a bit of a recondition, throw a different manifold, exhaust, and then go racing. A few adapters and all that, but yeah, go racing. I ran them for about, I still run them now. This is my 7th or 8th year running them. So I ran them for about 4 years or 3 years maybe. And then I got in V8 dirt modifieds. For some reason, I always pushed back on the dirt modified stuff. My dad ran them for so long. We had the car there. I just wasn't interested. I was happy with my Wingless Sprint. Then I had a go of it, really enjoyed it. So then I started to race them concurrently. So run them same like what I pretty much do now. But then the sprint car, well, I ran that for a few years, probably 2 to 3 years. I just ran them in classes in my own stuff in the Wingless Sprints. And my dad's dirt modified. And then we were going to go to Chariots of Thunder last year, which just happened in Darwin. We then got COVID out and all that with lockdowns, and then I just sort of had a bit too much time to think when I was thinking there. I'm like, I need a bit of to get in something a bit quicker, because I needed, if I wanted to do what I was doing in the States, I need something that's lightweight and fast. I had the dirt modified, which was fast, and the Wingless Sprint, which was lightweight, but it wasn't too fast. And the dirt modified is extremely heavy. It's about, I think, 1,000 kilos, about a ton, where the sprint car is about 630 kilos. So then, this pipe dream and idea to run a sprint car, and I had no idea how to pay for it. And then, thankfully, I had a really good deal come up. Dad tried to help me out a little bit. We just put he sort of owns most of the motor on the deal, and I sort of pay for all the costs in the car and the running costs with, and then all my awesome partners have helped me out with pretty much running the deal. So, that's pretty much where we led to.
I'm in a similar boat. Like my parents, they fully support me though, money wise. Obviously because I'm only 15, so they really do help me out. But most of my partners are what keep me out on track. Like even just local businesses are really good to us. It's not always about the money helping us. So, we really do appreciate our sponsors, and, our partners. But you're talking about you racing sprint cars, the wingless, and we also know there are sprint cars that have wings. So what's the main difference other than the wings?
Is this in context about the ones around in the States, or
just in general?
Here really not a whole lot other than the motor. It's pretty much you can just get a wing sprint car roller, take the wings off, throw the motor in, and pretty much go racing. That's pretty much all there is to it. A lot of the suspension stuff's pretty much the same. Shock numbers are pretty much the same. A few little funny things you do with the shocks. Other than that I couldn't really think of anything different. But like pretty much the wingless I ran here, you could throw wings on and go racing. But I chose this to get. My car was a bit older, so I decided to go get this whole package that I knew was good. But in context of the cars in the States, they're a lot lower to the ground because you need to not, as you can see in my photo, they're behind me, they're pretty stood up. This track doesn't have a lot of traction where I was, but they can tend to traction roll pretty easy, especially with that much horsepower and not a lot of weight. So they kept really low to the ground. They're a lot wider in the track width. Motors are detuned a little bit. They're still a 14 cubic inch motor, but they detune them just because you haven't got that downforce helping you. And other than that, I don't think there's really. And there's cockpit adjusters, so you can adjust your shocks and all that as you go. It's pretty crazy to think you can do that, but they're very simple how they adjust them.
That is that's quite scary when you think about it in a way. But I didn't.
It can be your best friend or it can be your worst enemy. Yeah. That's what I learned over there.
I'm looking at some of the photos here, and sometimes you get the inner front wheel off the ground. Can that happen due to the track conditions, or what causes that to happen?
It just depends on the cars, really. It's more or less sometimes a track condition with, especially with the modified and pretty much the modified and the V6 wingless. That's pretty much traction, the track. So the cars tend to porpoise and want to do this, and then they'll lift the left front up. My theory is a lot of them, if you got all four on the deck, that's fast. So if the wheel's up. With the wing car, I try to not have the left front in the air. I try to keep keeping the car down. Sometimes you can't help that. But with the 410 non-wing, you sort of got to drive them to the point where the wheels want to come off the ground. So you really can't help it in a way. So if you can see in the photo again behind me, the front shocks and the front axles nearly in the chassis rails. So you've got to just sort of drive them to the point they're about to wheelie, and sometimes you do get that left front in the air. That's corners and straight. That's just how the traction works.
Have you heard of iRacing before?
Yeah. I've been pretty much all the experience I had on the 410 non-wing before going to the States was iRacing. That was sort of my. I've sort of been a sim racer since about 2013. Have you heard of R Factor? Yeah,
I've got R Factor 2, but not R Factor 1. But yeah, I know of it.
Okay, so I was back. This is like probably showing my age now, but I was probably your age, running R Factor 1 mods with like wingless sprint cars and all that. And I think that just really taught me, like, because all the tracks are pretty well tuned to what actually they race with. It wasn't quite like iRacing with scans and stuff, but it gave me a really good idea how it all works over there.
Yeah, I drove the 410s on iRacing because I tried to build up my license on Speedway because I'm trying to do all of them A class because I feel like it's a good achievement. Up in the 410s for the first time and I hit the gas and the front wheels just come, like the front wheels just go off the ground and you start wheeling.
So pretty much a lot of the time in the States, I wasn't more than half throttle because of that. You don't need to. There's a photo. I should have put that photo behind me, but I thought it was too dark. But there's a photo of my front car up like this, and I was pretty much hitting some loose dirt, and then I grabbed some really good dirt when I was still really hard in the gas, and it just did this bang straight up, and then I landed and I bent the whole front end. So there's a lot of horsepower, and it's I wouldn't say it's more the horsepower; it's a lot of the weight too. So they're very light cars with that much power.
I don't race Speedway. There is an opportunity though that might arise for me to actually try in a sort of a bigger car later this year. But
nice.
Yeah, I noticed on the 410s on iRacing that they're very like I can't really drive them that well, but they step out a lot. You're playing with the wheel a lot to try and keep control. That was just me though.
Yeah. Is that the wingless ones?
No, they were the wing ones. I haven't got the wingless ones.
Yeah, okay, righto. So with the wing ones, you got to try let the car do the work.
Mm.
That's because sometimes you can overcompensate and then you just start getting the wobblies.
Yeah, and I find it
Yeah.
hard sometimes to determine what line's best, if it's bottom, middle, or top.
Yeah, it is tricky. You just got to
Mm.
sort of, I don't even know on iRacing. I guess you could just look in the mirror. I think that's a rubbish why there's a mirror on there. But yeah, in real life, you just got to look for where it goes sort of clean and just watch where the slick is and just try to go around it. You just try avoid that slick stuff really and just try to keep momentum. Momentum's a game.
And for some people out there who, like myself, I guess, who aren't really that knowledgeable with Speedway, do you do the same sort of racing as Cam Waters? What he's been doing between his V8 racing?
Yeah, I've raced with Cam a few times in the All-Star. So the sprint car run here is a 360. So it's instead of the aluminium 410 like the car behind me, so that's about 900 horsepower. The wing car race here is a steel block 360. So that has about mine's a bit lower horsepower than others because I don't have the best of the best motors. About 660 horsepower. The others are about 700. So yeah, I've ran with Cam a fair bit. His car's only based about 20 minutes from me, if that. So down in Carrum Down somewhere. And I'm pretty good friends with the crew chief, Lindsay Trotter, as well. So yeah, Cam's been good racing. Like he's quick timed a lot. Jesus, wow.
Yeah,
he quick timed a lot, and I was always 12th or something. But I know I'm a bit of a racer, not a qualifier, so I sort of found my way to the front eventually. And I ran wheel to wheel with him a few times, and yeah, he races you really clean too. Like I can't say that enough about him. You get some guys who just come into the sport and they just sort of puff their chest out and they just try and muscle you out of the way, and then out they go. So I think Cam will be around for a long time.
Yeah, I kind of noticed that a bit in asphalt karting. They bump you around a bit, and then when they hop in open wheelers, they try to do the same thing and just ends horribly wrong. But
absolutely,
yeah, Cam is I've met him before. He's a really nice guy and all that. But like, do you reckon he's as good on dirt as he is at asphalt? Or
I mean, for the amount of experience he's had on dirt, I think he's doing a ripper job. I've even said that to him, Lindsay, as well. Like, I have utmost respect what he's doing. I say this saying a lot: seat time is elite time, and that's why I run 3 classes still. But I don't know if I'll be running 3 this year. We just have to find out what's going on. I'd still learn myself. Anytime you've got a bum in any seat of a race car, I think it helps. I don't care what it is. If it's a go-kart, Wingless Sprint, like even pavement, like road course karting, anything like that. I don't care what it is. Just get in the seat. That's the best thing you can do.
I think that's why in karting I actually did do quite well, because my dad always had me at a go-kart track every weekend. Just the problem is, once you get more experience and jump in race cars, you can't just go to turn up to a track any weekend and just unlock the gate and go in. You have to fork out a fair bit of money to do test days. So like yourself, you were saying you're not really a qualifier, you're more of a racer. I can definitely share that one with you. Dad's always said to me, you got to qualify a bit better if you want to try and win races more. But I find it hard to put a good lap together. I can put consistent laps together, just not one good one.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm trying to think why I can't do it. In America, I know some places I struggle with motor. Qualifying like local shows is okay because it's sort of within your group. So you run against the guys that are in your race. Yeah. So you have someone to chase. So that was good. I was fine doing that. But when I'm by myself, I struggle because we have single car qualifying. I'm probably not with the road course stuff. You guys don't. But when it come to the national stuff, I struggled hardcore. I think a little bit was motor, a little bit was me trying to overdrive it and compensate. Thinking I've got to go as fast as I can, and I think I just made more mistakes and overcorrections and all that. So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's something we both need to work on.
Yeah, definitely, and especially with the overdriving thing. For those who saw me at Sandown, I was running on 3 cylinders all weekend. I got up to 15th from 20 or something on the grid because I can't compete in the dry. And when it finally rained, I got my chance. And then I
tires free.
Dandenong Road on Sandown track?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I came into
Yep.
there too hard, got in the curb, and then I just spun around and dropped to last because I stalled the car and I turned the ignition off by accident and
Oh no.
couldn't find out why the car wouldn't start.
Yeah.
But yeah, when did you actually decide to go to the US and compete?
I sort of was always a fan of the 14-mile racing. That's not really here, so
Mm.
that's for insurance reasons. No one will insure them. The V6 ones are big enough crashes, and I sort of agree with them. So pretty much I sort of had my first taste of them in about 2012. So that's 10 years ago now. There was just a compilation video with cool shots, like similar to like sort of stuff behind me, but in like a video form, I guess. I might have to send a couple to you.
Yeah.
I was always following as an avid race fan of it, and then it got to about 2015. I went over with my actual current car owner, Larry Fitzpatrick, in the Wingless here, and we all went in his caravan and just went around and watched a lot of racing. It could have been late models, modifieds, wing sprint cars, and non-wing sprint cars, of course. At all these Indiana tracks I raced at eventually, and I just fell in love with it there. Sort of once again kept a close following of what was going on with it for the next couple of years. I sort of wanted to finish school, and because I couldn't really afford to go back once I already sort of been once. And then I did my first year of uni at Deakin, and then I think it was 2019. So actually I was a couple of years into uni. I think it was just a thing with uni. You don't have a lot of money going through uni. I pretty much tipped it all straight in the race cars. So then I think it was one time I was just studying in the library. It was a cold day. And I'm like, why the hell aren't I in Indy? So pretty much then I booked some flights. I think it was about February in 2019. I was just going to help someone. That's all I wanted to do first, just get over there, show them what I know, what I can do, my work ethic. I helped a guy called Brian Van Meveren. He was nice enough to just take a chance on a stranger. I pretty much just went around asking teams, just in the USAC sort of area, that I wanted to help you out. Just pay me a pit pass and somewhere to sleep. I'll sort the rest. Don't worry about it. And I just gave him a little resume just to show I wasn't some fan on the hill. And it worked out. I helped Brian. So that was pretty much worked my ass off for 5 weeks. Pretty much 18-hour days in 35-degree heat, 100% humidity. It was pretty gross, but I loved every minute of it. And then Brian was in a race shop with Tyler Sturgeon, who's the car owner behind me, the car I drove. They shared all out of the same shop. He's seen what I could do. I got to know him pretty well too, him and Liz, his wife, and Travis, the driver as well. I become really good friends with him. Then I just sort of helped them out when I was finished helping Brian out, because I lived in the race shop. I lived on I slept on the couch. Like I didn't have any 5-star resort or nothing. I slept on a couch with a fan in front of me in the race shop, which is just pretty much a barn in the middle of Indiana. And then they sort of kept a close eye on me, Tyler and Liz. And then in 2020, just before COVID, I went over and helped my teammate Travis, or now teammate Travis Berryhill at Chili Bowl. Do you know what Chili Bowl is?
Oh, yeah, Chili Bowl, yeah.
Yeah. That was an experience, probably one of the most expensive weeks of my life. But that sort of just got me in the door. He drove for another team for that race, but I just went and helped. That was a bit of an eye-opener too, and just showed I was still invested. And then I think it was about March 2020, about 3 weeks before the lockdowns hit, Tyler's like, hey, you want to come over and drive my car for like, between my uni breaks? I'm like, I better drop my phone and like, what just happened? Like, that's how it sort of came about. And then COVID hit. Sort of had to wait till pretty much this year to do it. And then I always kept in touch, and that can be exhausting to do sometimes, especially from so far away. And then I just messaged him. I think it was about, I want to say like December, maybe January. And I'm like, do I still have a ride with you? And he goes, yeah, put something together. And sure enough, we did have a really great partners help us out and outdid our expectations, really. Me and Tyler's, to be honest with you.
So
So that's the long short story.
yeah, you said you went to the Lucas Oil Chili Bowl Nationals. What was it? What was it like to go and experience that? Because it's quite a big event in American Speedway.
Yeah, it's pretty overwhelming, to be honest with you. Sort of everything else you go to is a bit of a downer. That's sort of the atmosphere of the place. I'm not gonna lie. It has the best of every driver, every class. All the cars are in this huge building that you just can't grasp the size of. And yeah, I can't. It's loud and smelly and noisy. That's all I can say. But yeah, it's just unreal racing. So many cars as well. Like definitely a bucket list if anyone wants to go to it.
Yeah. And you were also saying how you did actually get a gig racing in the US. So what are the races like over there compared to here?
They're a bit shorter. So in Australia, we pretty much either qualify or draw our heat pill, and then we do 2 heats, which are one set like pretty much lined up on your qualifying, and then the second one's a full invert. And then those points accumulate to the A and the B mains, which are 30 laps and 15 for the Bs or something. And then you transfer from the Bs. Where in America, you pretty much either qualify in your heat groups, which they do here pretty much if you qualify now. It's just for time. And then you run 1 heat based on an invert of 4 from your qualifying time. So if I qualify a quick time in my heat, I start 4th. But if I qualify 5th, I start 5th. So that's just how the invert works. And then I have to finish, say, top 3 or top 4 in that 10-lap heat race, just 1 heat race to get in the show. And then, yeah, pretty much where you finish is where you start. And then USAC's a little different. That's a single car qualifying. And then you get seated on a 6 invert from the whole field in a way. So I think it's top 24. And then you just have 1 heat race to get in the top 4 as well. And they're this, they know the system. They kick my ass a lot.
It's very cool to see how they race differently. But I did mention at the start that you are a mechanical engineer. So did you do any studying for that?
Yeah, I went to Monash University. It's in Clayton. So I actually went to Deakin first. I didn't really get the ATAR I wanted. So if any kids are listening, the ATAR means nothing. Just keep working and you'll get where you want to be. I can't stress that enough. So I went to Deakin my first year, then I transferred to Monash, and I sort of did a bit of a full study load, then a sort of a 3/4 full study load for 4 years, and yeah, I graduated in November last year.
Very good. And do you work on the car yourself and develop it so it can go faster?
Yeah, I'm huge on that. I pretty much have to know every single nut and bolt on every car I drive. The Fitzpatricks, I know, I just let them do their thing. I definitely know I have my preferences with what I want on the cars. But in terms of everything, I can probably do everything except motors. Motors, I probably could do if I put my mind to it, but there are plenty of people that there's a one thing if engineering, if you know someone knows something better than you, just let them do it in a way. If they can do it, definitely a better job. Yeah, I'm huge on all my cars. I've done a lot of development on that modified, Dad's V8 Dirt modified, where that's come from when I first drove it to now, it's absolute leaps and bounds. Exteriorly, you can see the whole body's different compared to when I started. I designed a whole new body for it. Few aero tricks on there that I don't think matter too much, but it definitely gets people talking. Then in America as well, I was pretty much told, we'll set the car up and you have to do the shocks. So that's pretty much how that works with all that.
I like what you've done with the car. You've done a very good job with it. You've made some progress. The Speedway community is a pretty passionate bunch of people, as I learned after going to Spectator round. Why do you think the spectators love watching the racing so much?
It's just raw. I don't know. It's just because it's just everything's done so quick. It's just an action-packed night, and it just gets you amped up. I know with road racing a bit, like it sort of goes all day, and there's sort of little delays in between, and like Speedway has this stadium feel. And it just starts at 6 or 7 or whatever, ends at 10:30. It's just like a night out, and it's just the intensity is just off the charts. And yeah, the fans do really get behind it. That's for sure.
When we were there, I noticed when the cautions come out, everyone's straight into position where they need to be just to get ready back for a restart. Like if it's something really minor, they're back in the lap. So
yeah, you're getting yelled at. Trust me.
Yeah,
you're getting yelled at to get in line on the receiver. Yeah, in the States there was actually some penalties. Like you can usually sneak some spots here, and over there, if you go up a row and they look, oh, he's gone up a row and he shouldn't, they'll actually put you to the tail. So that was a new rule for me.
Does the racing happen all year round, or how do the seasons work in Speedway?
In Speedway here, it's pretty much from October to May, I'll call it. June, they try race in June, but it's just they always rain out. There's also racing in Darwin this time of year, and up north in Cairns and Mareeba, and I think Broome race this time of year too. Oh, Broome maybe not. I'm not sure. So yeah, wherever they have tropical stuff, they race opposite to us. America goes pretty much outdoor. They go from February, and the national stuff, they go from February to November, and then December and January they're indoors in like showground pavilions and the Chili Bowl, Gateway Nationals, if you've heard of that. That's an indoor stadium, football stadium with late models, and they did have midgets. But yeah, that's pretty much just how the seasons work.
Yeah. What's the ultimate goal for you? Do you want to keep competing overseas? If you can. And is there anyone you'd like to thank who has supported you through your racing journey so far?
Yeah, I'd like to try to get to that top of the USAC tree. There's probably 8 or 10 guys that are really like notorious for being just absolute, pardon my French, badasses. There's three categories in USAC, and there's Silver Crown midgets or speed cars here, and the 410 non-wings. I wanted to be proficient in all those, compete for race wins, and sort of do it for somewhat as a profession. That's my goal. And if I need to put like a quantitative thing, I'd definitely like a championship in the USAC of some sort eventually. Racing here, I'm hoping just to race here just for fun eventually. Like I'm the most intense person in the pits. It's a job for me. But I loved racing my dad's modified and just trying to develop that. So if I can develop that and get a national title on that too, that'd be pretty cool. In terms of who I'd like to thank, I definitely have to thank my family, my dad, mum, my sister. They really put all 110 into me, as 110 I put into my racing. All my sponsors. I have to list a couple because they help so much. CDR Truck Sales helped me get to the States. Ramsdale Wreckers. Russell Steel Sales has been with me since day one. Endurico, which is where I've been working for a lot. He let Danny let me go racing a lot when I probably should have been at work. I have to think This Speedway Life, which is a new magazine out for Speedway. If you want to read some Speedway magazines, Number 4 Composites is buddy mine Mitchell. He does a lot of road racing. He's probably seen him at Sandown. Maybe he works on a Formula Ford too.
Oh right.
Couldn't tell you which one. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I can't think of many else. Just off the top of my head, they're just the really big ones that chip in a real heap. And anyone who supports me, it's pretty cool the amount of support I've gotten from what I did in the States. And I probably can't forget Tyler, Liz, and Travis for giving me the opportunity to race over there as well, because I didn't just approach them saying, can I race your car? Here's a heap of money. They approached me and said, do you want to race for our team? So that was pretty cool.
100%. So, you got to thank everyone who's, supported you, but where can the viewers keep following your progress?
I've been really, really pushing my YouTube channel, Todd Hobson Racing. I've been doing it's just sort of ended this season, if you want to call it, the journey. That's pretty much documents every single race, I think, except 3. And I've done 50 races this year from November to now. They have every single race on there. And it's in depth behind the scenes. That's sort of been the big thing. So yeah, just subscribe to that. Todd Hobson on my Instagram. Todd Hobson 83, which is probably how you found me. And then there's Todd Hobson on Facebook. They're just really the 3 channels I push in that order, really, at the moment. So, yeah.
Well, thanks so much for speaking to me tonight, Todd. It really looks like a lot of fun. It's a very fun form of racing, and I would love to try it out sometime. I wish you all the best for the rest of 2022 when it stops raining and you can get back racing.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see, how you continue to go. And I hope everyone can get behind you and follow your progress, like your YouTube channel. And to anyone heading out to a track this weekend, remember always to drive fast and take chances safely, of course. Thanks, Todd.
No worries, mate. You too.